Well guys, it is time for the 2100 subscriber special, even though, as always, we are now 1,000 subscribers past that point. We're having to go back and do the top 10s, and today we are at an impasse because I still want to continue on doing this top 10 of every series, maybe take a break from doing characters for a bit, but the next series on the list is Beast Machines. Beast Machines is often cited as the single worst toy line in Transformers, as well as potentially just the worst series of fiction in all of Transformers. Personally, I love the Beast Machines cartoon, big fan of it. I actually watched it before I saw Beast Wars. As for the toys, well, I don't have 10 of them, and I barely have enough to do a top 5, but I do think that they're worth pointing out, because these figures make me want to interact with more Beast Machines. The only issue is, from the sounds of it, I might have already seen the best of what they had to offer. At the same time, Mirage looks great, Jetstorm looks really good actually. Basically all the Vehicons. I just want to mess with all the Vehicons. Blast Charge. God, what a weird guy. I want to see Blast Charge. But these are the ones I have, and they're still really fun. So, we are going to go into the top 5 Beast Machines figures in my entire collection. And yes, I'm including figures that are molds from Beast Machines, but weren't released in Beast Machines. That's why I have Universe 1 Tankor and Universe 1 Obsidian here. Don't at me, I'm not doing a top 10 Universe 1 figures, but I will do a top 5 Beast Machines. Let's get straight into it. At number 5, it's Beast Machines Strika. Now, a lot of people will look at this and say, "What? That's not Strika, the color's entirely wrong. Was this a special release or a redeco?" No, a big reason why people really don't like Beast Machines is the toys are basically the single most inaccurate toy line ever accompanied with a TV show. Very few of the characters are show accurate. And when I say very few, I mean I can count on my one hand, basically. The Tankor drone, the Thrust drone, arguably Obsidian, even though the colors are wrong, I guess Strika in there too, and then Megatron in robot mode. That's a big if. Basically all the Maximals, except for Black Arachnia, are horribly inaccurate. Even Black Arachnia is very wrong. But a lot of them were still pretty cool figures. Strika is one of the more accurate because the design is still here, proportions are perfect, and the head sculpt. Look at that big mean head sculpt. The car mode, not the best, but at the same time, that was the aesthetic of Beast Machines. Articulation, not the best, but again, that was the aesthetic of Beast Machines. In the robot mode, there are things I dislike here, like the ball joints in the hips, and you can't really get a good look at the hands no matter what you do. But the head sculpt, the presence of the figure, and in all honesty, just the fact that I really like Strika and Obsidian is what gets Strika into the top 5. Because when you get down to it, my favorite thing to come out of Beast Machines very much are Strika and Obsidian. I am so sad that we've never seen a proper return of those characters. I think that they are incredible, the greatest generals in Cybertron history, loyal to no faction but to the planet itself. Wonderful, incredible. Bring them back. They would be so cool to see. You know what would be cool? Strike and Obsidian with Shockwave. Like, would they be fighting Shockwave? Or would they be with Shockwave because Shockwave brings logic and order to Cybertron? There's so many stories you could tell with Strike and Obsidian. Also, I'm wasting your time. I'm sorry, going on to number 4 now. If you ask most people who the best toy in Beast Machines was, they'll probably tell you it was the first version of Tankor. Now, still horribly inaccurate, but filled with so many great gimmicks, from buzzsaws in the arms to clamping hands, a missile-firing turret, and an eye that is always following you around, as well as the fact that you can actually move the mouth a bit so it looks like he's talking, which is also really fun. The head sculpt is just incredible too. Now, this is the Universe version. He's a lot more colorful, but I like the colors a lot. He looks so bizarre. Like, he looks like what I imagine G-Axis would look like if he showed up in Beast Machines. And besides that, he's just a really fun toy. The tank mode is really good, the transformation's nice and simple, articulation is just incredible for a figure of this age, and there's just not much you can really knock him. Like, sure, again, inaccurate, but all Beast Machines toys are inaccurate. I don't see a reason to hate on Tankor for just being inaccurate when he is such a fun toy. Past that. Another reason why Universe Tankor is so good is due to our number 3 pick, which is Universe Obsidian. Now, the sculpt of Obsidian was already incredibly show accurate, but the toy came out in a very gross neon green. The Universe release, that again was 2-packed with Tankor, gave you a show accurate Obsidian, and it's just the best. Everything about this guy is perfect, even down to his very weird legs that you can actually get into the show accurate. You absolutely can't use those as legs configuration, but they also gave you the opportunity to just have him standing there. His head sculpt is incredibly sharp. I love his missile hands. I love his propellers. I love everything about him. You've already heard a lot of the reason why I like Obsidian with Strika. I've always preferred him as a character and as a design to his consort. But past that, I also just think the toy is better. Smaller, yes, but also a lot more fun. If Strika and Obsidian are my favorite characters to come out of Beast Machines, then Thrust would be the silver medalist. I love this guy. I'm not going to give away the twist, but even knowing who he used to be, I still really like Thrust as a character, as design, and like Obsidian, they found a good way to manage the design. In the show, he had this great one-wheel look. It was incredible to see as a kid. I never knew they made a toy of him. I thought, how could you do it? Simple. You just do that, and boom. You have a goofy looking set of legs, but now he actually has legs. You make him a functional toy. But if you're like me and you want the show accurate wheel design, then you have also these blast effects. And the blast effects are going to give you the ability to tripod him. Incredible. That's actually really good design work from the Hasbro team. The head sculpt is also very sharp, and I can just hear the sarcastic voice of Thrust coming out of this weird biker loner dude. I really enjoy my Thrust toy. I think he's solid, and even the motorcycle mode has a lot of charm to it. My one complaint is that he's just the bike drone and not actually given Thrust colors. That's because technically they already did a Thrust that was horribly show inaccurate, but that is not the point. The point is, this guy's good, and he is on my shelf just as Thrust. And finally, at number 1, the only Maximal on the list, it is Night Viper. What makes Night Viper so great? You want to know what he turns into? A Cobra. And it's a really good Cobra. The transformation is incredible, making amazing use of his legs. In robot mode, yes, the ball joints do get a little bit weak, but he has this great lanky design. He looks like such a pretty boy. He does. I could see him busting in and being just the biggest Casanova around. He has a fun weapon with this claw that pops out. You can even angle it around in case you want it. The colors on him are just great. I especially love the metallic kind of rust red throughout the figure. It's just an amazing look. One that we will never see again, unfortunately, more than likely. At the end of the day, Beast Machines is not well loved, either as a fiction or as a toy line, and the aesthetic was hit or miss, and unfortunately more often than not miss. But when it hit so hard, be it with Thrust, Obsidian, and especially with Night Viper. Bringing the top 3 back in, a thing I really want to point out is a lot of people love to hate on Beast Machines. It is probably the biggest punching bag in the entire fandom and has been for over 20 years at this point. Personally, I have a lot of fondness for Beast Machines. It was the first Transformers show, other than animated, that I watched from front to back, and I really enjoyed it as a kid. It informed a lot of my play scenarios as a kid even. Did I have any of these toys? No. But I'd be lying if I wasn't looking at Thrust, Strika, Obsidian, and even a lot of the Maximals and using them to inform how my toys would act in the adventures I would send them on. And it does mean a lot to have characters, like, again, Strika, Obsidian, and Thrust, in the collection now because of how much I enjoyed them. Are they the best characters, or the best show, or the best toys? No. But there's a lot to like within, if you're willing to go and just do some experimenting for yourself. Is Beast Machines as good as Beast Wars? I don't want to weigh in on that, but I think you know how most of the fandom would answer. What I'll say is, not everything Beast Wars produced was a masterpiece, and not everything Beast Machines produced was a disaster. After all, I just showed you 5 pretty good figures from it.